Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and we're continuing my series where I talk about my 10 favorite games from various companies, and today we're talking about Iello Games. Or so some people will say Iello, but it's pronounced pretty much close to yellow. Iello was, I guess I should say, a French-American company, although right now I think they're just a French company. And they made some very popular games, made a lot of little small games. Nowadays, they're kind of all over the place with their different games. So one of the things that we always liked about Iello was we knew they would have fantastic art. That's one thing I think that's pretty consistent with Iello Games. They also make, for the most part, they do not make overly complicated games. Their games are pretty easy to jump into and play. So here are my top 10 Iello games. Number 10 is Last Message. This is a newer game from them that came out last year, a party game in which you were killed by somebody. And there's a huge Where's Waldo style picture. So you have picked someone, and someone else is that person who was killed, and they are trying to give clues. So they're writing things on a board, but then you erase part of that board so that then everyone has only partial clues to try to narrow it down who they think the person is. It's an entertaining game. Number 9 is Cora, Rise of an Empire. So Cora also came out last year. This is a game in which, well, essentially it's moving up tracks. You're building an empire based on one of the Greek cities. Each one has a special ability, but you are taking various actions over the course of the game trying to collect chips. It's very, very mechanical, but I like it. I like the idea of, you're deciding you're going to score through cards or by collecting chips. The special ability of your city-state is going to kind of drive you, but I think it's a pretty solid game, Cora. Number 8 is Niet. Niet is a trick-taking game, and I really like this one. The Russian-themed animals is kind of fun, but the thing about this game is you don't know how the game's going to go. You don't know what the trump is. You don't know how cards are going to be scored, but players at the beginning kind of take turns slowly drafting away different elements until each of them is focused. It's kind of a difficult game to explain in a nutshell like that, but the players make a lot of fun decisions. It ends up being a little chaotic, but I enjoy Niet. Number 7 is Medieval Academy. We talk a lot about drafting games these days, and we talk about drafting games that are easy for people to get into. A lot of people point to Seven Wonders, but I think Medieval Academy is one of the best welcoming games out there for people into this. You are drafting cards. You use those cards to move tokens on different tracks, to save a princess, to fight a dragon, or whatever they might be. And each token does different things based on how you move it. Very simple, very easy for people to play. Number 6 is Steam Park. Steam Park is about running an amusement park for robots. That's a silly little game, but it has these little three-dimensional cardboard pieces of different rides. The robots are running around making a mess. You got to clean it up. There's a slight bit of real-time aspect where you're rolling dice trying to get what you want, but it's not all that way, and I think this game has held up after many years. Steam Park. Number 5 is Tails and Games, Hare and Tortoise. So there's a lot of the Tails and Games. Hare and Tortoise is easily the best of them. These games are kind of geared towards kids, but this one works really well with adults, as you have a bunch of different people, the hare and the tortoise and a wolf and several other characters racing, and you want one of them to win, and they all move differently and do various things, but you're secretly rooting for one of them. Number 4 is Welcome to the Dungeon, or you can do Welcome Back to the Dungeon. They're both essentially the same game. They can be combined. They play the same way, where there's a character who's going to go fight their way through a dungeon, and you are adding monsters to the dungeon and or taking stuff away from the hero. And at some point, you drop out. You're like, I couldn't do this. I could not take this hero through that dungeon. And you keep dropping out to only one person's left in. That person tries to take the hero through the dungeon and either gets a wound or succeeds. You get a bunch of succeed cards, you win the game, or you knock everybody else by them getting too many wound cards and you win. Very simple, fun, a lot of laugh out loud moments. Great little small game. Welcome to the dungeon. Number 3 is Shot and Taunton. Now, Shot and Taunton came out ages ago, was remade into Battle Line from GMT Games. The new Shot and Taunton that Iello released included the extra special cards that were included in Battle Line. Shot and Taunton, Reiner Knizia 2-player game. Silly little Scottish artwork as they're fighting back and forth, but it's a straight numbers game, a little bit of poker feel to it. It's a fantastic game. That's my number 3. Number 2, Bunny Kingdom. Another drafting game, this is from Richard Garfield, about growing your bunnies and putting out bunnies on this grid and trying to grow groups of bunnies out there. You're drafting the cards. Cards can be scoring or placing them out there. If you've ever played the more modern game Isle of Cats, it has a lot of similarities to Bunny Kingdom. I don't know which one I like better at any given point, but Bunny Kingdom, I just like seeing the rabbits grow and go all over that board. And it's pretty easy to play and teach. It has an expansion, which isn't necessary, but is nice. I like this one a lot, Bunny Kingdom. And my favorite Iello game, as I would imagine everyone's favorite Iello game, that's not true, but like if I did a people's choice of this, it wouldn't even be close, and that's King of Tokyo. Now, yes, they made a follow-up to it called King of New York, which wasn't quite as popular, and there's a lot of expansions, but King of Tokyo is what put Iello on the map, and I imagine is a good chunk of their profits every year. Very popular game, also from Richard Garfield, about monsters fighting each other, rolling dice, Yahtzee style, fighting, punching each other, or getting points. Just such an easy game to get people into. Easy game to, works with up to 6 players. It's fast. It's simple. It is just a phenomenal game showing what a great designer Richard Garfield is. So those are my 10 games, my favorite games from Iello. What are yours? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, though, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Best of Publisher Series, the Best of Iello on the Dice Tower.